Hey guys, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're looking at the game Everdell from Starling Games.
Everdell is a gorgeous little worker placement game that sets players underneath the Ever Tree in the middle of the Everdell Valley. Players will be collecting resources and constructing buildings and gathering critters in order to put together their perfect little town.
It's from designer James A. Wilson and illustrator Dan Bosley. Starling Games sent us a collector's edition, which offers some upgraded components and an expansion. So let's take a look at it now. To set up the game, lay out the main board, assemble the Ever Tree, and put out all of the neat resources, including the squishy little berries.
Lay out the 4 basic event tiles, then shuffle the decks and place 4 special event cards on the Ever Tree, place 4 forest cards, and 8 cards for the main deck in the meadow.
Deal 5 cards to the first player, 6 to the second, and so on, and give everyone their 2 starting meeples, and then you're ready to begin.
Each turn, players will either place one of their worker meeples and gain resources,
or they can spend their resources to purchase and play cards from the meadow or from their hand in order to add them to their city.
If a player owns certain buildings, they can claim the corresponding critter for free.
The game is played over the course of 4 seasons. At the beginning of spring and autumn, players will activate their green production cards as well as add additional meeples to their pool.
During the summer, players will add a meeple and draw additional cards into their hand.
At any time, if a player is able to fulfill the requirements of a basic event tile or a special event card, they can send a meeple to claim it.
At the end of autumn, the player with the most points wins. So say goodbye to those crusty cube pushers and make way for Everdell. This game has some of the nicest components that I've seen in a worker placement game recently. A little bit of that is due to the fact that we've got the collector's edition, but I believe most of the components, especially the squishy berries and the tree and all those things, are included in the base game. And all of that works together to create this really nice, really inviting experience that kind of will draw in new players, I think, and will be really enticing to hardcore like worker placement people who are used to just moving around yellow and brown cubes.
I also enjoy that this game matches up the worker placement with an engine builder. I didn't pick that up the first couple rounds we were playing. There are cards that allow you to gain critters for free if you build certain buildings, and so that whole mechanic kind of builds on itself to allow you to, it's easier to get some of the base level buildings and critters at the beginning of the game and kind of ramp up and work towards getting more and more resources as the game goes on, and then getting some of those more expensive buildings towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I think your city is limited to like 15 buildings, and when we first started playing round 1 and round 2, you only have like a couple buildings in your town. And one of the interesting things about this game is the way that it ramps up. You gain those additional critters, or the workers, the meeples, throughout the course of the game. So you start off with just 2, but then by the final round, I think you have 6 or 8.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of choices at that point, which is really nice because you kind of learn to play the game with those first couple of rounds, and then by the time you get to that last round, which can take as much as the entire first 3/4 of the game put together, you really have a lot of choices and a lot of things to manage and build and put together.
I enjoy that this has a variable setup. The cards that go in the forest and the special event cards on the Ever Tree change every game that you play. And so you could pick the actions that you'd like for the forest if you really wanted to. But it does make you pay attention to what you need to be collecting if you'd like to get those bonus resources and points for the special event cards.
Yeah, if we haven't raved about it enough, the artwork for it is also really gorgeous, really cool illustration style, lots of fun critters, very beautiful overall. Just really, really fun. I think this is something that kids could probably get into without too much trouble. We haven't played it with ours yet, but I'm looking forward to trying it. We definitely enjoyed it. The player counts obviously make it more interesting too, because some of those spaces are going to be limited and you're not going to know who's going to beat you to it and take the spot that you really needed, like in any worker placement game.
If this sounds like something you're interested in, you can check out Everdell from Starling Games, and then don't forget to check out our other videos from Tantrum House.
It will be constructing and gathering resources, and then critterizing.
Critterizing.
This little worker placement game that sets players in the middle of the Everdell
Galaxy?
So hard to say. And it all works together to really nice... Do we get it?
Yeah, not really.
One more time.